Can you make out a difference between these two pair right here? You'll notice from looking at it, the color of the grip on the plier to the right, a little bit darker maroon. Indicators of a different manufacturer, at least an alteration in the manufacturing process. Of course, this one on the left I've been using for about a week now, so it's got a little bit of blemishes here and there, and I got my initials engraved into the side of it. Whenever I picked it up, pulled it out of the package, it did look nice. The finish is pretty decent on the Doyle Pliers. Here's what the jaw slop's like on this one. Now, of course, there's going to be some jaw slop on these pliers because it's how they're designed. You just don't want excessive jaw slop. You don't want to be able to adjust the jaw open and then you have the handle fold over top of the other handle. Now this one is pretty daggone close, as you can see right there, but it's not as bad as the one that I ended up warrantying out. The last thing you want to do is be prying down on something, putting pressure on it, the thing slip, and then you crush your fingers because of that rivet not being right. This one had just a little bit of oil on it whenever I pulled it out of the package, not too much. Now as far as the rest of it goes, it slides in and out, it adjusts okay, up and down, right here you are. You got plenty of movement right there, which will adjust for the different size of fasteners you might encounter. Now as I said, one of the biggest things you're going to notice the difference on is the color of the handle here. This one is a little bit darker. Also the fit and finish on this one is a little bit darker and it's a little bit gritty on the outside. I pulled this one out of the package, it had a ton of oil on it, so they did put plenty of machine oil on this. You can clearly see it glistening right there. Flip it over, the same thing over here, just a little bit of grit, and most of that's the oil residue where it was inside of the package itself laid on top of the plier. As far as the jaw slop right here, it's got much tighter tolerances because the rivet is actually put on there properly. It's not nearly as thick as what this one right here is. Get them here side by side so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. The one on the left is much bigger than the one on the right. And also look really closely at the metal material. I'm sure the material is pretty well the same. You can see and feel a slight difference. One test I want to do is this. Just close your eyes and listen. Do the same thing to this one right here. There's not much of a difference there, but there is a slight difference. You can definitely tell it's something different about these pliers. The thing I want to point out is whenever you get these in your hand, you squeeze down on the handle here, you can feel some flex. And generally, whenever you're feeling flex, it's because it's a softer material. You're going to have more flex in that material. You're applying force to a fastener, you're putting force on those handles, you expect for that force to be distributed throughout the jaws right here. That way it crimps down on the workpiece and you can actually turn it. If you encounter a pair of pliers with a whole lot of flex, chances are you got a pretty cheap quality tool. This isn't nearly as bad as some of them that I've seen, but that's why we're going to be testing them in the trades with other brands. And right here, whenever I squeeze it nice and tight, there isn't nearly as much flex in this one as there is the other one. I believe that the material that these are made out of is a little bit better quality. Now they might have switched factories in China, they might have decided to invest a little bit more in the quality that they're dealing with. I don't know. The amount of jaw movement that we've got on this one right here, it's a much tighter tolerance here as well. It means you're going to get a better grip whenever you're applying force to something. These don't slide up and down nearly as much as what the other ones do, but if it does, doing so with a little bit of resistance. So open them both up. There you are. There is definitely a difference between these pliers and how they're being manufactured. The older one is on the left, the newer one's on the right. The older one has a little bit wider jaw capacity compared to the new one. Another thing I want to point out is the machining on this. You can see the newer one here on top. The machining is much finer than what the one on the bottom is. Now, usually whenever you got a cheaper tool, they'll add on the metal. That way it enhances the strength, but whenever you got better quality, you don't need all that extra steel. The newer one clearly has less metal material on it, and it appears to be a much better quality tool. These are just slight differences that's going to let you know that something has changed with the Doyle Pliers. Interesting to see how well these perform together side by side in the field as a test them against other brands. Have these comment down below. If you want to see these tools in action, all you got to do is pop that clutch subscribe, check out these other social media platforms.